What is up, RotoGrinders? We're back. I know a lot of people are sweating some baseball, myself and Bobby Gomes, talking a little bit of baseball, of course. Tons of baseball going on right now. We had the baseball show earlier today. Heads up, we'll have baseball tomorrow. I believe tomorrow baseball is prioritized at 5 o'clock, like 5 to 6:30 or so. Crunch time, we'll do some basketball. That's a little tricky with the crossover season, but that's kind of where we're at. Of course, if you have premium, you know, the content's getting pumped out for everything. There's also college basketball happening tonight. The madness continues, but the madness in the association, Bobby, you know, the NBA didn't stop just because baseball season started. We still have a couple weeks as we whimper to the end of the season. Not a lot in doubt, unfortunately. A lot has been settled already. Some jockeying here and there for position, but a lot of teams tanking. Some teams are motivated. FanDuel and DK did not cooperate on this one, unfortunately. FanDuel decided to include the last two games, the Blazers in Sacramento at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. And, of course, FanDuel insisted, like, we can't have a slate without the Jazz. I mean, come on. The Jazz and the Rockets, 9 o'clock game. DK making it a bit more of a sprint for us. It is a six-gamer, cutting it off the slate that is at the 8 o'clock games. 3 games at 7, 1 at 7:30. The 7:30 game, actually, I think two teams that I guess want to win, sort of. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then the Grizz, OKC, Lakers, Bulls. Lakers are on the back half of a back-to-back. They, of course, had the walk-off yesterday with LeBron and the tip-in at the buzzer. Their opponent, the Pacers, also on the back half of a back-to-back, as are the Wizards, who are furious. They must be outraged. They accidentally won yesterday. So they're probably bummed out today. At least the management is. They've fallen behind Utah in the old tankathon, Bobby. Utah jumped ahead of them. Utah in the 1 spot. Bobby, how are things? Are we sweating baseball? What are we doing here? I know we got some basketball to talk about. Do you have anything?
Baseball's easily my favorite DFS sport. So yeah, I'm sweating baseball. Basketball's interesting. I watched Washington and Philadelphia with my girlfriend last night. She wanted to basically kill me. Yeah, it's just.
I didn't get a chance to watch that game. I was life stuff, but were the teams? Nobody wanted to win, right? Was it evident that there was shenanigans going on?
I was texting my buddy, and I got like 100% Vukovic or whatever, so that was good. But then I had like 40% Grimes, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. But I had a lot of exposure to that game, so I was just sitting. I basically hit on every piece of that game except 9.1K Grimes, which I probably shouldn't have been playing, but I was. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
The chalky Angels are scoreless after 4. So baseball's back. That's, you know, who would have thought the chalky Angels are going to flop? You know, who could have anticipated?
Just watch the money move on their total, Dean. Like they had a high team total and it drastically went down throughout the day. So you shouldn't have been playing too many.
You're big into that. You're always on top of like the team line movement. That's one of your go-to.
Baseball, yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's even like 0.3 is like a big move, like in baseball.
Yeah,
you know, decimal points can be big. All right, let's talk some basketball. We'll dig in. It is a Fleet Thursday, by the way. It is a Fleet Thursday. What is Fleet Thursday? Well, it's Athlete Thursday. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about in my 5 clues. The people are going to be so angry when they see the first clue.
I bet it's a baseball player.
Well, you can't say that. You can't. Now, I mean, Bobby, you're
I'm just making it easy for the people. You know, I'm not going to get it right, so I can just.
Yeah,
it's got to be a baseball guy, I would imagine.
It doesn't have to be. It could be. It certainly could be a baseball player. It doesn't have to be. There's no rules. It could be any sport. It could be a cyclist.
Today, Dean. It's so obvious. It's just your thing. That would be your thing.
I like how you say it's so obvious, and yet I think you're over, if I'm not mistaken.
I've never gotten one of these right, but it is a baseball guy today.
But it certainly could be. Yeah, it absolutely could be a baseball player. But the people are not going to like the first clue. The first clue, if it is a baseball player, it's a retired baseball player. Retired is our first clue. So there you go. Retired is our first clue. Let me know the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. 1 guess per clue drop. We'll drop a clue every 10 minutes or so until somebody guesses it correctly. They get themselves a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. Good time to get yourself some premium with the baseball season starting up football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all the sports, with the exception of NASCAR. Should also mention we got a deal going on. Combo Pro is $79.99. That's just $15 more than PGA. If you're going to get PGA a la carte, just $5 more. If you're going to get NBA a la carte, you get all the sports, you get everything. Also, it includes content for March Madness. So be sure to tap in on that. $79.99. I presume, I'm fairly certain, link is in the description. Get yourself some premium. Body parts that we are monitoring as of right now. Who's in, who's out. I did drop this in chat. The injury report. Jalen Williams officially questionable for OKC. Haven't seen him in a while. Amen Thompson, that's FanDuel only, is questionable. We have Mobley already ruled out. Chicago's the interesting one, right? Vuk is questionable. Vukovic is questionable with a back. Giddey, who's been out of his mind of late. He's been spectacular. He's got an arm, so he is questionable. Malik Monk had the fish. He's ill. He's questionable as well. Other players were kind of Duncan Robinson questionable. Kason Wallace questionable. Not a lot. Brandon Williams is questionable. They also kind of been messing around or losing track of his games. I think he's only has like 2, maybe 3 more games left. Not a lot. You can't play the rest of the way. Two-way player. So they're kind of picking their spots with him. I think the Bull stuff is probably what's most important. In that game, I kind of mentioned it with Chicago. They are, I guess, the Chicago and Miami are destined. Basically, it's possible, non-zero chance. But essentially, Bobby, we're going to get Chicago and Miami playing each other in the playoff nonsense, the 9-10. They're going to be 9-10, Chicago and Miami. It's just a matter of who hosts the game. Chicago's up on Miami by 1 game. So I guess Miami's motivated to win this game. I suppose they want to win, even though Miami, they are their pick is lottery protected. Otherwise, it's gone. So you'd think they'd want to lose, but that's not Heat culture. That's not what Heat culture is about, Bobby. You got to win.
Heat culture isn't legitimate anymore after this season. It's just been totally thrown by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean the Jimmy Butler stuff, the alleged Jaime Jaquez stuff is.
I don't think it's alleged. Still, I'm still on the train of it not being alleged.
Well, I'm going to say alleged. I'm not saying it's.
I want to say you took a shot at me last night on the show with Tim because
what did I say?
I was listening and you said I was told Jimmy Butler was vengeful. He wasn't vengeful.
That wasn't a shot at you. No. That was not a shot at you. The people were saying, like,
everyone was on.
Yeah, that wasn't just you. No, for real, that wasn't me taking a shot at you. That was just, Twitter and Blue Sky was a buzz for sure. We should have knew. Dean, don't do the Blue Sky thing on the show. No one's speaking on Blue Sky. Everyone's on Twitter. You're the only person on Blue Sky. You skeet on Blue Sky.
You skeet?
That is the official term.
How do they not? They should just cancel themselves for skeeting.
That is it. I'm just telling you that's. I believe that's what the CEO said, or somebody said that's what they're calling it. So that's what it says. That's my understanding. Is
all the CEO from Blue Sky? Who is the CEO of Blue Sky?
I don't know. Somebody said it. Somebody official.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. That's just what they call it. Last I checked in. Do you have any thoughts as far as the slates on a whole? It's kind of gross. We're not a ton of value necessarily. Of course, things probably open up, although some players their prices are rising. We just got an update, by the way. Give the lineup HQ a refresh. Jared Allen is looking really good. Good matchup. Absence of Mobley. DeLon Terry is projecting pretty well, and that's probably should speak to how the slate's not looking great. Like his projections around 19 on DK, but that's sort of usable right now. Will that be usable in an hour and a half? I don't know. Davion Mitchell's another guy not a great projection. He's fine, point per dollar, but
he stinks.
He
stinks. Yeah. He stinks.
I mean, he's a Heat culture guy.
I'm actually getting 24% Mitchell currently.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. No, definitely not. Bam too. Bam's like a shell of himself without Jimmy. Why am I getting 34% Bam?
He had a big game against Jimmy. He showed up.
He did show up. Yeah, they're playing the Hawks too, so it's
Atlanta's a good matchup. Yeah,
it's a really good matchup for Bam. It's tough. Like when you're looking at the slate and like I have Orlando popping again, Banchero coming off a phenomenal night, but Anthony Black is there as well. He was there for me the other night. You talked me off him. He ended up getting 28 DK. I should have just stayed on him instead of playing Dennis
28's
Schroeder.
not winning you anything. 28's fine. It's not winning you anything.
What was he, 3-5? I'll take it over whatever I paid for Dennis Schroeder in campaign the other night in the Millie. I'm not a millionaire maker winner today.
I meant to ask that. I meant to circle back on that.
I'm not. Sorry.
Yeah. You called your shot and everything, and unfortunately,
wow,
Mackenzie Gore at 12 strikeouts. Good Lord. Shout out to Mackenzie Gore. Oh,
Philly, Dean. What happened to their total today, Dean? Philly.
Well, I'm told it dropped by 0.2, so that was alarming.
No, it dropped more than that, didn't it?
I don't know. But man, Gore, shout out to him. He's probably done. I'm guessing he's done. 80 pitches after 5. But keep an eye on the baseball.
Maybe he's no Gore. I just want to break my phone. I should have had Gore.
Yeah. Well, look, there's going to be 200 slates. There's going to be a whole bunch of slates, Bobby. You know, if you don't win this one, maybe win the next one or the next one after that. Bankroll management. We must stress how important that is. Before we dive in, as far as game by game, any overarching thoughts on this slate? Any particular injury we're waiting for? I guess the Bulls is the most important thing. Giddey and Vuk are currently questionable. I feel like they're playing. I don't know, but I feel like they're playing.
Yeah, the Bulls are probably the most important. Like I said, I like some of these Magic guys. Who pops when if you remove Giddey and Kobe White, basically Zach Collins gets a big bump. Jalen Smith. Who else is there? Patrick Williams. There's no way I'm even considering playing him. The main guys that I'm currently getting, Black, Banchero from Miami. I'm getting a lot of these value Washington guys, Colby Jones. The thing about Washington is last night, if you looked at how well they shot, like, is that going to continue? I think Vukovic got a price downgrade. I can go back to Vukovic.
I'm a little concerned. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. He's a really good fantasy point minute player. We've just seen him before where, like, they DNPC'd him basically the other day, gave him 3 minutes in garbage time. They vehemently do not want to win this game, but also they probably shouldn't because they're facing a pretty decent team in Indiana. I'm just saying he might. I'm just a little bit concerned that he might not get a ton of run, but I don't know how much he needs. He's pretty cheap.
So who scares you the most out of these three from Washington? Colby Jones, AJ Johnson, who can jump out of the gym, or Tristan Vukovic?
I think Vucevic is the scariest one.
All right, I have more Jones and Johnson currently.
It's just tough these days with Washington. They're in the back half of a back-to-back. We saw yesterday the shenanigans, like their starting lineup changed a couple times, right? And I don't know if that's just a coincidence or they're just doing something. And they were in a tankathon game as well. We're currently giving Johnson 29 minutes. We're giving Jones 23. How many minutes we giving Vucevic? 23.
What are we giving Sar?
Say it again.
What are we giving Sar?
29.
Sar's a stud, man. I really like it. He just does everything.
I think he's pretty good. I think it's pretty
good. Yeah, they got a player there. 6,400 for Sar. I think that's pretty good in terms of a tag. Yeah, I don't know. You're making me nervous about Vucevic, but
I'm not trying to make you nervous. People were nervous yesterday when he wasn't starting.
I played him 100%. I didn't care.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there's a chance he plays like 3 minutes. I don't think that's likely. And you try to play
so well last night. If they just sit him tonight, I guess they all played.
That's the problem. You're making the argument that for them not to play him when he said he played so well. Their motivation is to not win. So it's a really silly thing, and it's this predicament they put us in with the lottery nonsense.
Like, are they going to beat? Are they going to beat Indiana though? Indiana's got
Probably
what?
Not.
The highest.
Probably not.
Indiana's got the highest team total on the slate. They're what? 13-point favorites almost.
Yeah, they should win. They should definitely win. But weird things happen. By the way, I just realized I get Atlanta and the Bulls confused all the time for some reason. I don't know why I did that. I guess the red. But yeah, Miami's facing Atlanta, a team that's ahead of them in the standings. It's not the 9-10. Miami's going to play the Bulls.
They're right next to each other too, because that's a 7:30 game and the Bulls are the 8 p.m. game. So
yeah,
if you're dyslexic, you can make that mistake. I would have been. I'm a fair game to make that mistake. I think I did it the other night with Sacramento and someone.
It's fine. Yeah, I just realized I was saying that the 9-10, the Atlanta's battling for the. So Atlanta and Orlando are essentially fighting for who's going to host the 7-8. And, the 7-8, 9-10 stuff is already essentially, I don't want to say it's done, but basically done. Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, Orlando. We just have to figure out who's hosting those games. But all right. Did we say hello to chat? What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. We appreciate all that. By the way, shout out to Elio Ramos. My pick today in the expert survey, my pick today earlier to hit a homer, the sneaky homer.
11 home run, was that him?
I saw Elio Ramos just at a homer a little bit ago. Hebert Rees just homered for Washington, so now they're going to get Gore in line for the win. All right. Skeens at 6 strikeouts and 67 pitches. Let's do it. Let's talk about the Mavs and the Magic. 218, not a very exciting total. Orlando is a 7-point favorite here versus Dallas. Officially, Anthony Davis is questionable, but the assumption is he's going to play. Anthony Davis should play. Gafford, of course, we're not going to see him. No Kyrie, no Lively. No OMP. PJ Washington officially out. Brandon Williams is questionable. They're currently at 10 if Williams is in. If Williams is out, they will be down to 9. We currently have Dinwiddie, Clay, who's some would say he's dusty. Najee Marshall, good price for Marshall over on Yahoo for playing over there. Anthony Davis, Kai Jones, we're expecting to start. And again, Williams currently questionable. Kristi, Hardy, Howell, Caleb Martin. That is your 10 or 9 for Dallas. Cole Anthony, right on cue, was just ruled out. When was the last time we saw him? I don't understand. He's been doubtful or questionable. Why couldn't they just say he's not playing for a month? Anyways, he's officially out. Suggs is out, and the brothers Wagner, Moritz Wagner, is out for Orlando. Nothing really new there. I know you like yourself some Banchero and Franz Wagner. They both look pretty good today. 2 of the better big spends on the slate. Talking about the Magic and then the Mavs.
Yeah, so Banchero and Wagner, I think, are probably I think Banchero's probably my favorite pay up. I feel like more people will go to Wagner and take the savings for like a grand less than Banchero's price tag. So I don't know. I'm just going to ride with the hot hand and go Banchero if I had to choose between the two, but I think they're both fine. Wendell Carter's in a good spot too at 5,200. Anthony Black at 4K with Cole Anthony out. I'm fine going right back to Anthony Black since Dean made me not play him the other night. So I'll chase that Anthony Black train for hopefully 28 DK points.
28 at 4K, it's fine, I guess. Yeah, it's fine.
30, give me 30.
Take the under on 30.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you'll get it tonight because I'm probably going to do it. On the Dallas side, I can't bring myself to pay 7-9 for Najee Marshall. I think it was Big T the other night in the Millie. He took the chance and he hit it pretty well. I think he had a good score in it.
Did he win the Millie?
No, I don't think he won the Millie, but one of his teams was pretty similar to mine. And then I had Jimmy Butler and he had Najee Marshall, and Najee Marshall at 7-9 was I probably wanted to pay the 7-9 for Marshall or whatever his price tag was.
I wouldn't play him either. I was just saying for Yahoo, his price is not fully adjusted. He's pretty good over there in Yahoo if you're in those streets. But I don't like
Kirkwood and 5 other people.
I know some people in our chats like to play a little Yahoo as well. So don't want to besmirch, but yeah, of course King Yahoo, Kirkwood, Kirk Dees. He probably knows all about that. Oh, Ty Jerome was just ruled out. That's kind of a big deal. Maybe a big deal. That could change some things. Not a fit. Yeah, they're saying unlikely to play, which to me, Cleveland essentially has nothing to play for. They're coasting in the one, and they're 15-point favorites.
Are you at least one Cleveland on every team?
No. Probably. Yeah, I'm also cautious about Cleveland, for the reasons that they kind of pump the brakes on some of their minutes. It should be a blowout. But
late season NBA is fun, Dean. Thinking through this.
Yeah, it's not. Matchup is like the third thing or fourth thing you got to figure out at this point. Just who's on the court, who's motivated. That's just where we're at, man. Jerome being out, Sam Merrill, maybe. I mean, it would help Strus. It would help Hunter. I think those are the first two guys that probably get bumps. We'll see what the projection team does, but yeah, Jerome probably 25 minutes or so going away. A lot of second units run as well, usage. So yeah, we're not at that game just yet, but that's gonna matter. I think that's gonna matter. Certainly where we're at right now, at least, because we don't really have a ton of amazing value. If we do point per dollar stuff, we have 3 players currently above 6x on DK. One of them is Vucevic, by the way. The other one's Johnson for Washington, and then your favorites, Heat Culture, Davion Mitchell. Those are our 3 guys as of right now that are just above 6x on DK. What do we have as far as FanDuel? Let's appease the FanDuel people as well. Nobody's a 6x play over there on FanDuel. There's about a handful, about 7 or 8 that are in the 5s for what it's worth. What's up?
FanDuel, they added more. What was it? 2 more games. They just can't stay in line with DraftKings, huh?
Well, I mean, you gotta. What are you gonna do? Not watch the Jazz? We gotta include the Jazz, right? That would be disrespectful.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to talk about the Jazz and the Rockets, and Amen Thompson being questionable actually really matters too for FanDuel, because if he doesn't play, that would open up some stuff. Maybe like a Tari Eason, Jabari Smith look a little better as well. Probably have an if-then set up for that. And then Portland, Sacramento, you got to include that game as well. Monk currently questionable. If he doesn't go, it's pretty clean. Ellis would jump in the starting lineup there. Revenge game for Sabonis? No. His dad played for the Blazers. That's what I'm thinking about. Anyways.
Way to age yourself.
Well, I mean, you could just know that as a basketball historian.
I don't know that. I didn't know that.
You never heard of Arvydas Sabonis?
No, I know he played in the NBA, but I didn't know which team.
Yeah, he was good. He was ahead of his time. Supposedly he was amazing in Russia. When he came over here, he was already kind of beat up. He was a 29-year-old rookie.
Do you think Giannis would have got 250 on him?
Maybe, yeah.
I think he probably drops the 250.
Giannis drops a 250?
Was he a 70s player? Did you miss the conversation yesterday with Pat McAfee and LeBron?
No, I did. I did miss it. Yes.
No, LeBron was like Giannis would get 250 in a game versus players from the NBA in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously he's exaggerating. But
I know.
The point he's making is the correct point. You know,
it is the correct point. Most people will be upset with that. But.
Yeah, I think Giannis wouldn't have had an issue with Mark Eaton and Greg Ostertag. Is the point that LeBron was LeBron was making. Yeah. You don't know how good Bill Laimbeer was. Come on, get out of here. Giannis would have destroyed Bill Laimbeer. Anyways, did you give your thoughts as far as Dallas? You kind of talked about
Dallas is too expensive for me. No, Dallas.
Yeah, Davis is essentially unplayable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And him being there kind of ruins everybody else. By the way, projection team is on top of things. They already kicked Jerome out. I don't think changed the projection just yet, but feel free to give a refresh. This game's not very appealing, is the long story short of it. Dallas and Orlando, correct? You agree?
I'm with you.
Okay. How about the Pacers and the Wiz? 235.5 is the total. The Pacers are, like you said, 13-point favorites, big boy favorites. The Pacers are playing the back half of a back-to-back. Who's in and who's out? Well, everybody for the Pacers that is relevant is available, despite it being the back half of a back-to-back. And in Washington against a pretty terrible team. Washington is still without Koulibaly, probably out for the season. No Brogdon. No George, no Smart. Jalen Martin apparently is available, the two-way player. JT Thor is out, the two-way player. Middleton is back today. They're playing the back half of a back-to-back. And then, again, they are fully motivated to lose. They've won 3 of their last 10. They won last night, and they're now in the 2 spot in the Tankathon, just ahead of Charlotte, just behind Utah. Thoughts as far as the Pacers and the Wizards?
Yeah, I'm way over on these Wiz. Like I said, Colby Jones, AJ Johnson, getting a good bit of them. Maybe that changes now once. Did we update currently? I haven't run the update. But AJ Johnson, Colby Jones, that's what I'm kind of targeting in this backcourt for the Wizards. 4,200 for AJ Johnson, Colby Jones, 3,200. Those are probably my 2 favorite plays, followed by Tristan Vukovic at 4,200. Really good game last night, 7-footer. Dean doesn't think he's going to play.
No, I didn't say that. I'm going
to risk it. I'm going to risk it. Even if he's coming off the bench, I'm fine with it. And Alexander Sarr at 6,400. Those are probably my 4 favorites. On this Indiana side,
great matchup. They're just fully healthy, and it should be a blowout. And it's the back half of a back-to-back. And we've seen this, Carlisle tends to extend his bench knowing these situations.
Yeah, I would be careful about playing Halliburton and Siakam together if we think it's going to blow out, which I kind of do. Miles Turner has a good price at 6,500. Nembhard and Benedict Mathurin kind of go away from me in these situations unless Halliburton's out. That's mainly it on Indiana. Do you have any thoughts on Indiana?
I am concerned that they're going to blow them out. I'm concerned that they tend to push their minutes down a little bit on the back half of a back-to-back. They've been kind of babying Halliburton, and 31 minutes is basically the most he's going to get, maybe 32, probably not beyond that. Could he get there in 32 minutes versus Washington? Sure. But it's not a priority. I understand if you land there. If you look at the minutes, we're giving Pascal 31, Turner 30. They're fully healthy. If you want to get goofy, like large field stuff, McConnell's not crazy. He's a guy that would extend a little bit longer in the blowout if this game gets ugly. By the way, we officially do have Davis playing, which was the expectation. Joseph's still starting for Orlando, KCP, Franz Wagner, Banchero, and Wendell Carter. That's our starting lineup for the Magic. We should give this second clue because retired is not really helping people. And I've not been in the Discord, but I assume nobody has guessed it just yet. I know Steve's on top of that as well. The second clue is HOF in capital letters, Bobby. Capital letters, HOF. And Ray in chat says Rodman would absolutely manhandle Giannis. Are you serious? Giannis would have dunked.
Giannis would throw Rodman into the third row. Pick him up by his tighty whities. Throw him into the third row.
Yeah, I don't
Rodman's
think
a
people
beast.
realize how big Giannis is. Yeah. Rodman was good. He was a good defender. He was feisty.
I don't think people realize the size differential.
Yeah. I know for the time, and Rodman was a very good defender, but he probably could play today to some degree. Would help if he could shoot, which is
it's
hard.
The argument I had in Florida with my uncle with Bill Laimbeer.
Oh no, your uncle was telling you Bill Laimbeer is a good player?
I had this conversation with you. Yeah, he was telling me Bill Laimbeer would beat up LeBron or not let him in the paint.
Bill Laimbeer. Oh my God, he would be.
I get it. People hate LeBron, but can you just acknowledge that he's really good at the basketball stuff?
That's amazing. Imagine thinking that Laimbeer would lock down LeBron James. LeBron would put up 250 on Laimbeer.
Yeah. I think that was what LeBron was trying to say on the McAfee show, but he just used Giannis as the example because he's such an egomaniac. But
he's not. Wait, he's such an egomaniac. He didn't say he would. He said somebody else would.
He didn't say he would, but everyone knows that he's obviously pretty much. You know what I mean?
That's your interpretation.
I just think he's an egomaniac. I just can't deny the fact that he's the greatest basketball player walking the planet.
Yeah, or that ever played.
Yeah.
But But like ownership-wise, you're on Johnson. The field's there as well, currently at 29%. You mentioned Sarr at 20%. This game is getting flooded to some degree. Halliburton is getting 16% on DK. You mentioned Colby Jones, still just 3-2, getting 12%. But I don't know how good he is, right?
I can't tell if the Wizards have a good young team or I just watched them play Philly last night. And the team should be in the NBA.
So I think Sarr is a good
Sarr is definitely good.
I think Koulibaly is a decent piece too. The rest, you don't. What's no? I don't. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody else that's of note. Obviously, when this team is good, theoretically, Middleton won't be there. When this team is good, Marcus Smart won't be there. Carrington could be all right. Bub can be all right. I'm not sure what he can be, but I think he's in the conversation of somebody that might be, a useful rotation player. And Vukcevic, he's at least a good fantasy player. I don't know how much he helps you win. I haven't seen enough of him, but I like a big that can step out and hit a three, and he can do that. Anything else we want to say as far as the Pacers and the Wiz?
I'm getting a lot of Halliburton, and you're telling me I need to be careful. That makes me nervous, I would say. We only have him for 31 minutes.
It's the back half of a back-to-back. Coach talked about trying to keep his minutes down a little bit. It wasn't that long ago he was dealing with stuff. This game is kind of assumed as a win. How much do they need this game in the standings? Where are they at?
Halliburton and Turner are the only two that I think makes sense.
They want to win, right? Because they're kind of battling with Detroit as of right now. They're probably not going to jump up to the 3. They're 3 games behind New York. They're the 4 right now. And they would face the Pistons, and they would want to host. They want to be the 4. So they're 1 game up in Detroit. Milwaukee is also lurking at the 6, but they're going to be at least top 6. And there's essentially no chance Atlanta jumps in and bumps somebody out. But they're battling 4, 5, 6, and they're currently in the 4 spot. So they do want to win. It's just how much they want to win and Washington wants to lose. And you can't just push those levers, but they're probably going to win, and Washington's going to be happy about that. Anything else we should mention here, or shall we scoot along?
We can scoot along, Dino.
Okay, let's drop that third clue for the people. We have no winners just yet as far as Sleep Thursday. Now maybe business picks up, right? We've given them retired, Hall of Fame. You've promised the people, you assured the people it's a baseball player. You don't know. Officially, you don't know. You're just guessing. But the third clue is 62. 62 is the third clue. It's
Barry Bonds.
What? How do you know it's Barry Bonds?
62 is he's not in the Hall of Fame, which is something you would like to do.
What? 62, he's not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
What is the number?
He broke the home run record. Wasn't it 62 or 63? You like to reverse your clues. So Hall of Fame, because it's an issue, and he should be.
Oh, you're saying my point is Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame, and that's the clue.
Yeah.
That would be really confusing.
Well, that's what you do. So
yeah, I get bad clues. It's fair.
I'm just trying to think about it. I don't know. Think about how you try to switch it up on everyone.
Nobody has guessed Barry Bonds yet officially, just so somebody could guess him if they want to.
Well, they weren't going to guess it because you said Hall of Fame, but I'm just trying to think how would you try to be sneaky about it?
Well, maybe this is why you're over. You're overthinking it just a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe. Or maybe I am. Maybe I'm playing games here. Spurs are playing the Cavs. 236.5 is the total of the Cavs. 16-point favorites. We kind of talked about this. The Cavs are 16-point favorites. They are 5 games up on Boston. They're a couple games behind OKC. As far as if they happen to meet in the finals, they're almost definitely not going to catch up like OKC. Boston is almost definitely not going to catch them. So Cleveland is where they are. They're not moving. They're in the 1 spot, and that's that. We just saw Ty Jerome was officially ruled out. Otherwise, everybody's healthy. Everybody's good to go for Cleveland. As far as the Spurs, nothing really new here. No Wemby, no Fox, no Bassey. Give a refresh. Let's see where we're at as far as those minutes. I think the projection team did kick out Jerome, and my guess is that guys like Strus and Hunter got little bumps that might be useful. Let's see if he runs some stuff. Let's see how many minutes we're getting for the Cavs now. Of course, a good matchup here versus the Spurs. And the other thing is, again, we talked about minutes being subdued for the Pacers. Cleveland's doing the same thing, Bobby. We're giving 30 minutes to Garland as a median projection, 30 for Mitchell, 30 for Allen, who looks incredible with the absence of Mobley. Hunter now is at 28. Strus is at 26. Sam Merrill, interesting flyer. Doesn't project great, but I don't hate him in like large field, a bunch of money up top if you're shooting for first. Giving him 22, Okoro 21 minutes, Dean Wade 20, and Craig Porter 17, which is really, that's like way off the board. But if this game gets really goofy, he's a guy that can do stuff in the fourth quarter. But your thoughts as far as the Cavs taking on the Spurs?
Yeah, I think Jared Allen is probably the guy I want to get to right off the bat. Yeah, he's the guy that's got the main bump for me, getting 80% Jared Allen currently. That's a lot. It seems warranted, right? Who's out there? It's Mobley who's out? No, Mobley's in.
And Jerome,
yeah. I don't know. Jared Allen, I'm getting a ton of. San Antonio really not good in terms of rim protection.
They actually have the highest team total, by the way, the Cavs.
I don't really like any of these Cav players better than the other value pieces I already mentioned. Like, I don't know, Sam Merrill and doesn't really – maybe DeAndre Hunter, I guess, would kind of stand out the most for me. But not getting to Strus, not getting to Sam Merrill. It's more Allen and Hunter that I think are probably the plays that I'm going to lean on. And definitely more Allen than Hunter. I only have like 10% Hunter. It's pretty much like where I'm at. What are you kind of thinking with how things have kind of changed? Strus obviously came up more. I just don't think I need it as much because I like the Washington guys better. Strus is at 4,300.
I don't want to play more than two players on Cleveland, but I might play two. Is what I'm. And I think Jared Allen is the chalky one, and he projects really well. The absence of Mobley, good matchup here against San Antonio. Again, some minutes concern, but this is on 30 minutes. He still projects really good. I'm probably going to be a little less on Mitchell. He's just really pricey. Again, he's got to score a bunch of points. He certainly can. I do like the bump for Strus and Hunter. Both those guys look pretty interesting. I think Strus dollar for dollar is probably a preferred play over Hunter, but good with both. Probably not getting the Garland at 8-4. Like, again, I don't make a ton of lineups, but he's in your pool if you're making, large field 20 laps. You probably have at least one share of Garland for me. I'm going to force at least one Cleveland in every lineup, but probably capping it at 2.
I think Mitchell and Garland might be the tournament plays because everyone's just going to play the value at the point guard position. So getting to a guy like Mitchell is a way to differentiate yourself.
So I'm running some new, like, quote unquote, optimal stuff with a little bit of bells, a little bit of whistles, a little bit of restrictions, a little bit of variance, and it looks like Hunter's like the most popular player I'm getting right now. This isn't stuff I'm playing. This is just I'm trying to see what Lineup HQ is spitting out, and we just got another update, by the way, at 5:42. So give it a refresh. Let's see if anything has changed. But as of the last time I ran this, it was Hunter hitting a bunch of stuff because, good matchup. Minutes probably got a couple extra minutes thrown his way. I didn't see what he was projected for before. But, yeah, Hunter and Allen are the top two guys hitting my stuff right now. And Mitchell, by the way, coming in at 32%. You can have the Mitchell stack today, if that's your thing. Davion Mitchell and Donovan Mitchell. The Mitchells combined put up, 90 fantasy points, 80, if you want to be ambitious. I'll play at least one Cleveland. Do we like anybody in the Spurs? Castle?
Really, no one. Sell had a good game the other night, but I don't know what they're doing either. Like, they're tanking too. Vassell, Sohan, Castle's going to be the lowest owned, I think, right, on all of them. I don't really love the Spurs.
Vassell's going to be lower on than Castle. Their projection's basically the same, and Vassell's a little bit more money. So
Okay.
Yeah, we currently have Castle at 15%. That could change. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at FanDuel, so maybe that's different on DK.
I was confused when you said that.
Keldon 18%, Castle 15%, Champene 15%, Barnes 15%. Harry Barnes is 3.7, but he's not great. Vassell is going to be the less owned of all of them at 6.9, I think, single digits. Not playing Chris Paul anymore. I know he's down to 4-5, but this is no priority to play him. He's not going to be pushed.
I played him the other night and was really kicking myself for it afterwards. I don't know why he hit my team in the big millie, but he did after he told me not to too. There was no reason to play him. They didn't want to play him. I still prefer all of these Washington value pieces over anything from San Antonio and mainly anything from Cleveland outside of Jared Allen. Like going back, like I said, it was AJ Johnson, Colby Jones, guys like that over like the Struces, DeAndre Hunters, or anything on San Antonio. I'm not getting really much of San Antonio.
Chat is telling me that Duncan Robinson is out. Somehow I didn't see that. Duncan Robinson is out. Is that correct? Because I don't have confirmation. If you see that, feel free to let me know. But I assume chat is correct. Yeah, there it is. Duncan Robinson is out. Burks is in for Miami. That is the next game, 7:30, Atlanta and the Heat. 226.5 is the total. Miami is a 2-point favorite here, so it's not fully high. It's reasonably high, and it is tight as far as the spread. As far as Atlanta, they shut down Nance for the season. No surprise there. Trae Young is always given that probable tag with his Achilles. I assume he's playing. No reason to think he's not. Of course, Capella is still out. Haven't seen him in a bit. As far as the Heat, we just got the news on Burks being in. Jovic still out with that hand. Duncan Robinson, Duncan Robinson's out. And I'm assuming we had him in.
Did this just update?
It updated at 5:42. So it probably does not include the Miami stuff, but it includes, Cleveland and probably some couple rates here and there, I'd imagine. But it's not going to reflect the news that just dropped as far as, Burks was in, but Robinson, I'm sure we are projecting in as well. Yeah, we are giving him 25 minutes, which let's sort of play as if we're on the projection team. Well, we're already given 27 to Highsmith, 14 to Burks. He probably grabs a few more. Jaime Jaquez probably grabs a few more. Yeah.
Were you ever on a projection team? You seem to kind of navigate this stuff pretty well after all the years of doing this with you, or is this just because you've been doing it forever?
It's never been on the projection team, but I feel like I have a similar thought process. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm as good as those guys or on top of it as much as they do or put as much thought process. But I've been doing it long enough where I kind of figure the trickle down effect, and sometimes I'm wrong, but I'm trying to figure it out on the fly here. But
I like Wiggins a good bit now.
I do too. He's getting 32 minutes. He can get more. That wouldn't surprise me if he got a little bit more. And he's been really good of late. I know his price is getting pumped up, but he's been playing pretty good for Miami. He didn't play a ton of minutes against Golden State because that game blew out. He was at 28, but we saw 35. We've seen 37, 36, 34 not too long ago. We've seen they'll get his minutes pumped up there. I like the matchup for Bam. I'm good with Ware as well. I probably wouldn't. I'm trying to think if I would play them both together. I don't think so. They're sort of taking each other's rebounds in some way. Fine. I'm fine with both plays. Just kind of salary contingent. Don't mind Okongwu either on the other side. This is one of my favorite games on the board.
I think it might be the best game on the board.
Yeah.
Just because of the tight spread and that, I do think that we're trying to figure out what games are going to be competitive, what are not, and this it's basically telling us this one should be pretty outside of Chicago and the Lakers, but we really don't know the injury situation with Giddey currently. So
and Vuk, I assume at least Vuk plays.
That spread could easily go the other way. In that game. So I think like taking some of the security of this game, whether it be like Andrew Wiggins, I think is a very strong play. I like Bam and Harrow as well. Think they both stand out. And then Davion Mitchell, which I didn't want to do, but I feel like I'm going to do it now.
His minutes are really secure. I should, as secure as they could be while being a part of like Spoelstra's rotation. His minutes feel really secure.
Yeah, I think that works. And I think that this is Trae Young, I think is fine as a run back. Cattell Ware, like you said, I wouldn't play him and Bam together, but I think it works. Who else? Ricochet, maybe. Throw him in there. I don't know, make a game stack of it. But this is probably my favorite game on the slate now.
It's one of my favorites, too. For those
what do you like better?
As far as what?
Like, is there a game you like better?
I think that the Chicago Laker one could get really interesting if we happen. Well, if you have salary, it's fun, but I don't know how to like. I want to play one of LeBron or Luka. Playing Luka and Giddey together seems interesting. White's been out of his mind, but if we happen to lose Giddey, then all of a sudden, it can get even more interesting on the Chicago side. And
I think Giddey may play.
I think I would lean yes too. I don't know, but that will be my lean. But I think that's the other game. And again, you need some salary to play with. One of LeBron or Luka, and then the Bulls. It's a hefty price tag. There's some sticker shock, of course, to get him. We'll get there. He's 9.5, which is just like what? But he's been paying it off, and he's been playing a ton. He's been really, really good. White just keeps scoring a ton. And this Lakers defense is not as good as it was. Kind of fraudulent it's sort of getting exposed a little bit. Not as good as it seemed to be. 3 weeks ago or whatever it may have been. We'll get to that game soon enough. I think those are probably the two best games, right? Cleveland, San Antonio feels like a blowout. You never really know. Indiana, Washington feels like a blowout. You never really, and also Washington's just really tricky to pin down rotations. We did get a note, by the way. I don't know if anybody was considering playing Anthony Davis. Just the note was that he's going to play 24 to 26 or 28. Not enough minutes is the long story short. 24 to 28 per coach kid. I know coaches lie, but yeah, maybe he plays 29, but I still don't think that's enough to consider playing him. Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber both homered, by the way, for Philadelphia. Just a heads up if you're sweating a little bit of baseball. Those guys are really good at the baseballs and did not get it off Gore, but a couple homers there for Philadelphia. Anything else as far as Hawks Heat, or are we moving on?
That's mainly it. We can move on to the Lakers in Chicago.
All right, we got 2 games left. We got let's see. We're way ahead of time, like 20, 25 minutes. 2 games left in the DK slate. If nothing else, Crunch Time. Crunch Time's going to cover the 2 FanDuel games. They go around the horn position by position on FanDuel specifically, on DK specifically. I believe that is Noto and Kristi. Roth, of course, is going to be holding it down as well. Let's give the people the 4th clue because I don't think we have a winner just yet. Jason Kelsey was guessed. I think Jason Kelsey's number 62. It is not Jason Kelsey. Gregorius the Wise guessing Jackie Robinson, or Jay Swift guessing Jack Ham. Who's Jack Ham? Do I know who Jack Ham is? Is that a made-up person? Do you know who Jack Ham is? I have to Google Jack Ham. Now I'm curious who that is. It's not Jack Ham, for the record. It's an old school linebacker, it looks like, for Pittsburgh, the Steelers. Not Jack Ham, or Scott Pollard, another player that LeBron and Giannis would get 250 points on. Player back in the day for the Kings. Clue number 4, it's receiver. Receiver is clue number 4, Bobby. Receiver.
So it's not a baseball guy.
Well, you told me it's a baseball guy. How do you know it's not a baseball guy?
Because you said it. What? Now you're saying receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's the Seattle Seahawks receiver that's in the Hall of Fame?
Steve Largent? And I mean, yeah, sure. I don't think there's another one. It doesn't have to be. I see what you're doing, but that doesn't necessarily have to be what you're saying.
I'm just trying to think of the most random. I don't know. You got me again. I'm not going to figure this out.
It's, somebody's going to get it. Well, the people will get there. But, if not this clue, I'm checking out the Discord right now. It is not.
Did Schwarber and Harper go back-to-back, or they?
Well, they didn't because they have somebody batting between them. They split them up left, but they did both homer. Yeah, somebody struck out in between them, I believe, or grounded out or something like that. The next game is Memphis and the Thunder. 237.5 is the total. The Thunder happen to be 11-point favorites here. Where are these guys at in the standings? Yeah, Memphis is trying to get some wins, right? They're in the 5 spot. They're jockeying with the Lakers. The Lakers and Memphis actually have the same identical records. Theoretically, I guess Memphis could jump up. Ideally, maybe the 3. I guess they can get to the 2, but probably not. And I guess they can also fall back. They can fall back to the 9. Like the West, it's really congested 2 through 8. All right. Who's in? Who's out for this one? Let's check out the injury report. Unfortunately, there's no Ja. No Ja Morant. Ja Morant's out with that hamstring. Lamar Stevens is questionable. J.G. Jackson's hanging out in the G League. They said Brandon Clark is done for the season. As far as the Thunder, Hartenstein should be good to go with his nose. Kason Wallace, he has a knee. He's officially questionable. Jalen Williams, J-Dub, the good Jalen Williams, is questionable with his hip. We're currently projecting him in. How do we feel about the Grizz and the Thunder? The Thunder, of course, another team just cruising with the 1 spot. I guess they have 10 more games remaining. They're 60-12. It's pretty impressive. 60-12 to the Thunder. Won 7 in a row. How do we feel about Memphis and OKC?
Yeah, Shea's great. Chat for tournaments. I think those would be the 2 main ones. Outside of that, not really much on the OKC side. On the Memphis side, Scottie Pippen, 6K. I think he's the guy that mainly stands out for me. You could always play Jaren Jackson. He'll find a way to get himself in a foul trouble or just blow up. He's not chalky tonight, though, so he'll probably do pretty well at 8,100. Those Jackson and Pippen would kind of be the standouts on the Memphis side. Really, Edey's kind of out of the rotation currently. He's
falling back. Huff's passed him by.
Yeah, I know Edey. Not Vince Williams at 3,800, but I think I'd prefer getting Strus or just the Washington guys over Vince Williams, especially versus OKC, which is the best defense we've seen in basketball
since Dennis Rodman and Bill Laimbeer.
They're actually better, but people wouldn't believe that.
My favorite one is that people say, and I'm just still throwing stones, but they say they don't play defense anymore. I'm sure you hear that all the time. They don't play defense. The players, they actually have the science of this. The players are running 2 to 3 times more per game now than they did 25 years ago because of all the switching and the spacing. They're moving. They're spending 2 to 3 times more energy as far as moving around the court than they used to. But they don't play defense anymore.
Well, they also the other thing is they're bigger, they're faster, they're longer,
stronger.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I think OKC for a good period of time and with the most efficient defensive team we've seen in the league this season. I don't know if they still are, but
they got to be still number 1. I'll take a peek.
They're still number 1, but I was saying I seen all time that they were the all time number 1 for a good period of time this year.
Well, I don't know how you quantify that because the pace of the game is faster than they used to be. The defensive rating is 106.2, and I'd have to imagine there's better defensive ratings in the years past, but that doesn't necessarily mean, that there was better defenses. Also, the shooters are better now too. Everybody can shoot a 3. Everybody, basically, with the exception of 8 guys can hit. The bigs can hit 3s. Speaking of Bill Laimbeer, he was actually a rarity back in the day. He was a big that could actually step out and hit a jumper, which you didn't see that from Olajuwon or Ewing. I could get an 18-footer, sure, a 17-footer, I guess, but they wouldn't hit 3s. But yeah, I always wonder, what if Shaq played today? Would he have learned how to shoot 3s? Would he have figured somebody have taught him when he was 5?
Well, I doubt it because he can't shoot free throws, so it'd probably be difficult for him to shoot threes.
Well, I mean, Giannis
He'd
can
still
hit
be dominant though because of his size, right? Like, there's no way.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Like, like when you said that, I was just visualizing him backing someone down or 2 or 3 people down and dunking on their head and turning around and dunking. Yeah, I still think Shaq would be able to play in this generation. I guess Shea and Chet are kind of interesting. I just don't know, like, really, am I prioritizing those guys over, say, Luka? Because I currently have more Shea than Luka, but does that, I don't know. Like, Luka's expensive, so I get it, but
I like them both. I mean, if you don't have the salary, it's fine stopping at Shea. It's also worth noting that he tends to play like the entire third quarter. So like even if like games blow out, he's gonna play like 28, 29 minutes, you know? So like there's some threats of blowouts all the time with him. But the Rushman just hit his second homer of the game. Looks like Baltimore had 2 double dong players, Rushman and Cedric Mullins. So if you played on FanDuel, hopefully you stacked Baltimore. Baltimore's up 9-2, by the way. Yeah, so obviously that's not ideal, but you're still going to get 28 minutes or so out of SGA if they blow out Memphis here. You know.
Yeah. I think it's more based on like what happens with Giddey, I guess. If we think that game's going to be more competitive, then I'll probably lean towards getting to more Luka. But if Giddey's ruled out, then I can probably find myself to SGA, get to some SGA. They're both at 8 p.m. So, yeah.
Somebody in chat here just said, I'm sorry, I lost the name, was talking about Zach Edey played 21 minutes last game. Well, guess what? They beat the Jazz by 37.
So, they didn't play a real NBA team.
Well, I'm also going to say, I'm pulling up the game flow. I'm going to say I bet he played a bunch of minutes in the fourth quarter. He played the entire fourth quarter. So he wasn't on track to play 21 minutes. He played 12 minutes, more than half of his time in the fourth quarter, and that was because they were playing the tanking Jazz and won by 35. In the first half, he played 2 minutes and change in the first quarter, and he played about 7 or 8 minutes in the first half. So, you know, he will play blowout stuff if you think the game's going to blow out, but if that's the angle you want to go with. But do not anticipate being, again, he's been jumped by Huff. And also, like, OKC is not the matchup where he gets back on track. This is not a game that he's positioned well to thrive, as far as I can tell. Trae Young, by the way, officially in. No surprise there. We did get an update projection-wise for the Heat kicking out Duncan Robinson. Just want to circle back and see our minutes. 37 to Hero, 36 to Bam, 32 Wiggins, 32 Mitchell, 29 Ware. It looks like Highsmith got a couple more at 29. Burke 17, Hawkes 13, Kyle Anderson 11. So nobody really got a big boost. They just kind of dispersed those 25 minutes amongst. Hawkes got like 7 or 8 more, but not enough. Anderson got more, but not enough. Highsmith got a few more. Not a lot to get excited about. Favorite player on the Grizz. You talk about Triple J. If this game stays close, it's probably because he does some things. Pippen, is there meat in that bone at 6K?
I think Pippen's my favorite, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't love it?
It's fine. I wish it was a little bit cheaper. I wish it was a little bit cheaper. But he's fine. Where do we currently have him? In these projections, 28 minutes, around 28 DK points. He's fine. I don't mind Kennard either. He can get hot from 3. He can handle the ball a little bit too. If I had to decide, I don't even think I really want much of Memphis because I think I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to have a lot of the Washington value. So, yeah, and you'll know. I guess we'll know when crunch time at 6:30 when their lineup comes out. At least their first lineup. I assume they're going to get it right, but We're currently projecting Poole, Carrington, Middleton, Champagny, Sarr. Wouldn't shock me if they do something weird. Back half of back-to-back, and again, they are trying to actively lose. We do have a winner, by the way. We have a winner in the live stream chat. Shout out to D Shelby08 for today's Fleet Thursday. I will give you the fifth clue, and then we'll explain them in a second. Favor is the last clue. Retired, Hall of Famer, 62, receiver, and favor. That is our 5 clues. Let's talk about the last game in the DK slate here, Bobby. It's the Lakers. I was hoping we get some news in the Bulls. We didn't. 237.5. That is a big total. Lakers back half of back-to-back and traveling into Chicago. They're still 4-point favorites here. They are a motivated team. They want to get as many dubs as they can. I believe Rui is the only one that's out. Yeah, Rui's out with the patellar. He's out with a left patellar. Lonzo Ball is questionable, but he's not going to play. Dosunmu's out. Giddey's questionable. I don't know if he plays. Trey Jones, of course, is out. He's got a foot. And Vukovic is questionable with his back. Kobe White officially probable with his toe. Some stars here. Luka, LeBron. I don't know if you go beyond that on DK or on FanDuel. Austin Reeves just seems way too expensive when Luka and LeBron are out there. I don't know how you get the $9K for Austin Reeves as the third banana, if you will.
He's $9K.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. Because he had those moments where he was just him, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of artificially baked up his price, and it's got to come back down. Really hard to get to it. I just cannot justify it unless somebody gets ruled out there, which we're not anticipating. And the Bulls. Let me see if we have an if-then. I assume we'll have an if-then for Chicago, but I'll throw it to you. Lakers, Bulls, what do you got?
Yeah, so on the Lakers side, it's really just Luka. I'm not playing LeBron at 10-3 on a back-to-back. Just can't do it. Can't pay $9K for Reeves. So if there's anyone, it's Luka. He's the guy for me, and I think he's fine. I have him about 15% currently. The Giddey situation's interesting. Like, if Giddey's out, I'm going to want a lot of Kobe White. I think Kevin Huerter would get a boost. 2 guys that I'd probably key in on. And then if Vucevic is out, Buzelis and Patrick Williams become viable in some sense. Zach Collins as well, I think, would stand out a little bit, especially versus that Lakers interior. Zach Collins could be pretty interesting in tournaments for that reason. Yeah, so that's mainly where I'm at. I have no Vuk currently, kind of hoping he just sits.
I think he plays, for the record.
Okay.
How do you feel about Dallin Terry? Is he still getting stuff or no? He's falling back, right? But our projection team did give Terry Rozier a minute. It looks like they just in a hedge minute for Terry Rozier is really been buried in that Miami rotation. One of the, not that there was massive expectations, but one of the more disappointing players on this season.
He's another one. He's like part of that Miami saga that's going on right now.
Yeah.
He's got his little situation there.
There's some allegations.
Interestingly enough, being swept under the radar, although it might be the biggest one going.
I didn't do the full deep dive on it. I imagine you did.
I did a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a possibility he's gambling on games. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the allegations were that he was leaving a game early to he basically called a shot that he's going to. I don't want to. I think it was a DM supposedly that he told a lady friend that I might be leaving this game early, something like that. That he did. Apparently, I don't know.
No, I didn't do that. I just heard there was questions about him. I don't know. Never mind.
Well, it certainly was him making shots. It was him it was another hitting. Yeah, because he's been a stone disaster this season. But Wiggins has jumped up as well, and Mitchell are both hitting a lot of stuff now. And Anthony Black, man, I don't like Anthony Black chalk at all. That's 4K. We're talking about a 23-point projection, a 7 o'clock game.
40% Anthony Black.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't like it. I might.
You said that the other night, and he was fine.
Say it again.
You said it the other night, and he was fine.
He was fine. Yeah. Well, he's also more expensive now. But if he puts up 23 points at 4K, are you angry? Probably not. Are you happy? Probably not. It's just it's just what did he help you get? That what do those guys do? But it's really not a lot that's exciting. I did want to mention, I was looking at the Bulls stuff. You mentioned Zach Collins. Zach Collins' last game played 3 minutes. He did not play after the second quarter.
Sorry.
I don't know if that was like game situation, playing against, Denver, or I don't know the reasoning why, but Jalen Smith played more in the second half than he did in the first half. Again, I don't know how to read into that. That could be a one-time deal. It was weird because, Jalen Smith, I kind of thought that he would be ahead of Zach Collins. Zach Collins was somebody they traded for, but not really. He was just a part of a trade that, make stuff work. And then he sort of jumped Jalen Smith. But Jalen Smith was also dealing with, he got concussed at that time. And we couldn't quite figure out the rotation between those two. But it might seem like it flip-flopped, and maybe Jalen Smith jumped Zach Collins. But I don't want to overreact as far as a one-game deal. We're just going to keep an eye on that. And maybe none of it matters. If Vuk plays, who cares? But if Vuk doesn't play, maybe Jalen Smith's the better play. All right. Any questions in chat? We got plenty of time for that. Do we trust Vukcevic getting minutes tonight? Doug is asking. Well, trust. I mean, he's probably not going to start, and we've seen it where he doesn't start and basically didn't play. We've seen him where he doesn't start and plays 20-ish minutes. I guess he would play. You got to think, Bobby, why not? They want to develop him, right? So if this game is over, if Indiana's doing what they're supposed to do, if they're winning big, you got to think that like he's in position to close in an ugly game, and maybe in a game that's relatively close. But I don't know.
Any thoughts? I think they'll probably just play him. I'm not really that worried. There was a guy I missed talking about, Alex Caruso for
what
at 3,900. Do you have any interest there versus Memphis?
Has Alex Caruso had like one game where it's like, man, I wish I played Alex Caruso? Okay. Like for real. Has that happened once this season?
Nope.
Just asking. What's happened in the last couple times out. We'll say that.
Okay, because he's popping for me. I don't know why. 3,900.
He's just his usage is so bad. I'm pulling up what his usage is. I'm thinking off the top of my head, it's probably like 15. It might be lower than that. Let's see. You want to take over or under 15 as far as his usage?
Under
14%.
Yeah.
Fantasy points per minute, right around one on FanDuel. It's probably a little bit lower on DK. Let's see. Yeah, if he repeats his last two games, you're going to want him. Wallace is also questionable. The other thing is he's not a guy they're going to play hard in a blowout. They want him. They want his defense for the playoffs, his versatility. They've been doing that all season long. We saw it earlier in the season when OKC was down to like 8 or 9 players. They had 8 or 9. It might have been 9. He was a DMPCD. Like they dressed him, and it wasn't because they had to dress him. Like they had more than the minimum, and they just didn't play him. He's got a history of injuries, his legs. It must have been.
It wouldn't make much sense for them to run him out there now.
What did he have? Yeah, he took some shots. We haven't seen it. Yeah, that's like the most shots he's taken in a while.
I'm not too interested in it.
If Alex Caruso beats me,
just the price tag was 3,900. Yeah.
By the way, let's go ahead and explain today's Fleet Thursday. Bobby, you were onto something, and then you weren't onto something. Retired. It's a retired player, Hall of Fame. You said like you were playing game theory. Like, of course, it's got to be a baseball player. Like, why wouldn't it be? It's opening day. 62. Well, this will tell you what sport this person plays. 62 is in reference to what round they were drafted in. That is the 62. They were.
It has to be baseball, right?
Yes. Famously, this person was drafted in the 62nd round. As a favor, Tommy Lasorda did a favor to this guy's father. I guess he was friendly with this guy's father. And Tommy Lasorda, like you just do goofy things in the 60th round for baseball, like whatever. And you receiver, you said, well, it's got to be a wide receiver. Well, a catcher is also a receiver, Bobby. If you play catcher, you receive the baseball. retired Hall of Fame catcher drafted in the 62nd round that Tommy Lasorda drafted. Who are we talking about? We're talking about he was a manager for Italy in baseball, international baseball.
Like Piazza.
There you go. All right. That was today's Fleets Thursday. And it was an homage to producer Steve as well, because producer Steve is a Mets fan. I guess you first think of
62 is like a big number in baseball.
Yeah.
The home run record. And like you equated it to the MLB draft, being that it had like 100 rounds at one point. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like the Hall of Fame thing could have went like 15 different ways with your clues.
Oh, well.
And then you threw in 62.
Cavs starting lineup, by the way, it is Allen, Wade, Strus, Mitchell, and Garland. I think that's what we had. I'm fairly certain that's what we had. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, we had Hunter in there starting, and Wade is now starting. So maybe Wade gets an extra minute or two. Maybe Hunter gets one or two docks. But
is that better for Hunter coming off the bench?
I don't think it's a big downgrade if that's what you're asking. Yeah, I think it's still fine. I guess he'll probably have more usage coming off the bench because
he might have more usage.
Probably have a few more minutes not playing alongside Mitchell, something like that. And Garland. He's currently projected for 26 minutes. Strus 26 as well. Wade 19, so Wade will probably get bumped up to like 23 or so. And he's 3-1, by the way, Dean Wade. Not a big usage guy, obviously.
We're not playing Dean Wayne. You play Colby Jones at 3-2.
Wade, by the way, 11% usage, and I rounded up. But like he can get you some rebounds. He can hit a 3. He can get a block here and there. Let's see. Anything else of note? Who do you have right now as far as well over the field? Is there somebody you're hitting the lock button on? Is there any lock button situation? I know you're waiting for
Washington. 90% Colby Jones.
Oof. How do you feel about that? I guess you feel good.
I feel good, Dean. I trust the stuff,
Somebody in chat was asking his minutes. I think they're asking about him specifically. I would guess it's somewhere in the mid-20s. 23 minutes we're currently giving the Jones for what it's worth at 3-2.
They shot so well last night, this team. But yeah, him and AJ Johnson have a very large amount of currently.
They're asking in chat, somebody wants to know how much Martin you have. Is that Jalen Martin or I don't know? Do you have any Jalen Martin or any Caleb Martin? I don't. I think
it's the Martin on. Is there a Martin on Washington?
So he didn't start last game, and I think he played was that 30 minutes or so?
He played well too. Yeah.
Again, it's the hardest thing to predict is Washington's rotations, and it's just really tricky to put numbers on. He could play 15, he could play 30, and neither would surprise me. Yeah, I had some Martin too for that reason. He's still really cheap. It looks like Giddey is officially in as we suspected. Vuk is officially in as we suspected. So I like that game. It's just trying to figure out ways to pay for some of those players. But Giddey is really expensive. But again, he's been paying it off. He's been awesome. And Kobe White, is he still on that streak of scoring 20 plus points in like a number of games in a row? Let's see, pull up the old game log. So
my exposure to Kobe White has drastically gone down throughout this show.
So points in the bucket, game log. Points in the bucket for Kobe White. 37, 36, 35, 24, 26, 23, 31, 29, 21, 44, 25, 26, 24. Is that like 12 games in a row of at least 21 points in the bucket? Now you got to pay for him. He's 8-3. And he's playing a ton of minutes too, just a boatload of minutes. 40 minutes last time versus Denver, 38 versus the Kings, 34 versus these Lakers. Oh, this is the game? I totally forgot. This is the game that was it Giddey and Buzelis? They were out there in Los Angeles. What did Giddey do in this game last time versus the Lakers? He put up 73 on the Lakers. I remember he was amazing in this game. I think Buzelis had one of his better games of the year too. So maybe the Lakers have a little bit.
What do we have for Giddey ownership?
Let's see. I bet you it's not that high because he's so expensive. 16%. Yeah, 16% for Giddey. Bobby, who's breaking the slate? I know crunch time is knocking on the door. They're going to be here in just a second, but you got to give me a slate breaker. And if you want like a bold fade, give me that as well.
I think it's like Banchero. A lot of Banchero.
You got him over Wagner.
Yeah, I have him over Wagner.
Is there anybody that you're like well under the field on? You're taking a stand?
Maybe Max Strus.
Yeah. Would we put a cap on like one of Strus, Hunter, Wade, something like that? Is that something?
I'm just not playing Wade. Is Wade like? Are we winning tournaments with Wade?
I mean, if he gives you 20 or so, that's not what you're looking for. What is he projected for now? We're giving him 22 minutes and about an 18-point projection. He's 3-1. You'd probably play him at power forward. Yeah, I mean, you're probably not winning tournaments with Wade. But like, if he helps you get access to Luka and Giddey, like, you know what I mean? Then maybe 22 points can help you if those guys put up a combined, 140. But yeah.
I'm playing more Anthony Black than Davion Mitchell. Playing both, but I feel like the field has it reversed.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's do it. Let's bring a crunch time. I believe we got Kristi and Noto, as well as Kevin Roth. Let's do it. Crunch time right now. All right, who's sweating baseball right now? Are we sweating baseball? Are we staring at baseball scores?
Me, but nothing's happened in the Cleveland and KC game. So
Kristi crushes.
Oh no, the Twins. They have the bases. Someone got the bases loaded there.
I bet Kristi's got herself a bunch of Baltimore stacks. I don't know why I know that, or I'm guessing that. Am I right to say that or no?
I do have some Baltimore stacks. Yes, I do.
You got Rushman and Mullins in the same lineup, hopefully, a couple times?
A couple times I do. Yeah, that's just it. They're all hitting home runs. Westberg, Mullins.
Oh, we're at 12 now.
O'Neal.
Oh, my God. I have not been paying attention, but yeah. All right. Shout out to Baltimore breaking the slate. And who would have thought the chalky Angels, the Los Angeles Angels,
right,
were going to fail? Could not have seen that coming.
The White Sox have 8 runs currently.
Yeah, we know nothing. It's that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, with baseball. All right, Roth, how are things?
It's good. The one game that I thought was going to play but was kind of in jeopardy did play. So we're 1 for 1. And, it's a good start to the season.
Yeah. Did anybody tweet at you, like, why is this game not started? Because, like, ceremonies are going on. Why is it delayed?
Yeah. Got one of those. But only one. Usually I get, 30 of those opening day. Only one. So that's not too bad.
All right. Yeah, Minnesota's got the bases loaded right now. Harrison Bader, revenge game. All right. Myself and Bobby, we're going to step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time. Y'all get 38 minutes of crunch time. We'll be back tomorrow, by the way, talking baseball, 5 o'clock, talking basketball later on in the slate. It's crossover season for the next 2 weeks or so. For now, you got crunch time, you got Kristi, you got Noto, you have Roth. Roth, take it away.
Appreciate it. You got some hoops as well, and that is what we're diving into tonight, to the sharpest minds in the industry. I got Noto in the house, looking sharp. Is that a black? That's not a RotoGrinders hat, is it? No, it's Jazz.
I think it's a Jazz hat. Yeah.
All right. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, doing good. It's almost Friday, almost the weekend. MLB's back. PGA's underway. NBA's tonight. And I've never done a show with Kristi before, so excited to do the first one. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, you got to level up because she brings the goods. So you got to get ready. She brings the sharps. The chat is always a big fan when she joins. Kristi, it is good to see you. Again, you're making us look like bums dressed to the nines. How you feeling? What are you more excited about? MLB being back, the NCAA tournament going down, or a random Thursday NBA slate?
I know. I am really excited about baseball back. I really am. It's one of my favorite time of the year. So we got Masters coming up too. So I know it's a good time of the year. It's for sure.
It is indeed. And you know what? It's a good time of the year to make sure that you've got RotoGrinders Premium as well. I'm going to have to pull up the numbers on this, but essentially the price of MLB for the entire season is the same price as getting Combo Premium for the whole season. So you might as well just sign up, get Combo Premium, because we've got all these sports going around like we talked about. MLB DFS for the year is $425. So we dropped the price of our Combo Pro product to mirror that. That is now just $425. So you might as well get, all the sports for the same price. So make sure you're signed up for that. And with that, we dive into things here on this NBA slate. Kristi, do you want to hit us off with if there's anything we're waiting for, or if there's anything massive that has happened that we need to discuss before we dive into it?
Yeah, let's see. We're starting to get some news coming in here. I'm trying to think if there's anything we're still missing. Noto's probably has probably caught more of that than I have here. But yeah, I think we're pretty well caught up. Noto, what are we waiting for?
Yeah, on the DraftKings slate, pretty much all the news has come out except for Casey Wallace, Jalen Williams, both questionable for OKC. And then on FanDuel slate, Ahmed Thompson and Kamara, Monk, all questionable. So if you're playing FanDuel, a few late injuries you want to keep your eye on. But if you're playing DraftKings, it's pretty much set, which is kind of nice.
That is nice. I may end up throwing some lineups in, that being the case. So let's dive right into it here. Let's start with FanDuel. We'll work our way over to DraftKings. We'll go position by position, both sites. We'll open it up to some questions as well, and they can be multi-sport. You can ask whatever you want here with golf and NCAA and NBA and MLB. But Noto, why don't you lead us off at the point guard spot on FanDuel? What do you like over there?
Yeah, so there's some good options, spend up or value. If you want to play the Cavs guys, they certainly make a lot of sense. Evan Mobley's out. Ty Jerome just rolled out 30 minutes ago. So you're going to see a lot of usage for Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. Obviously, San Antonio's defense has been much different with Wembanyama out of the lineup. So definitely a spot I like to attack. I think both are pretty strong options there. And then if you want to save, you have Davion Mitchell on Miami. Nice matchup against Atlanta at home. He's not a guy that has like a huge ceiling, but at his price point, he can get you 30. So 4.4, definitely viable. Anthony Black, probably more of a DraftKings play, but right now pretty well on FanDuel as well, getting a little bit lower ownership there. He's had at least 29 fantasy points in 3 straight games. And then, yeah, Josh Giddey, sounds like he's playing. The dude's just been on fire for a month now, and no reason to get off of him now. Probably my favorite spend up for tournaments. And I'm probably not playing the Lakers tonight, so they're probably my fades, Doncic. I don't know. It could backfire given the matchup against the Bulls, but I just don't know what his ceiling is with LeBron playing too.
Okay, good stuff. By the way, if you were watching last night, I gave out the lock that the Lakers, who were favored to lose, would win that game. I said it's a lock. Put your money down, and sure enough, LeBron with the game-winning tip saved me there. So shout out to LeBron on that. Kristi, what do you like at point guard on FanDuel?
Yeah, so I like a lot of the plays Noto mentioned. I read his core play article today, which is awesome, by the way, and it's great to do a show with Noto, first one. So excited to do it. I do like the Cleveland guys quite a bit. So he mentioned Mitchell, mentioned Darius Garland. Think they're both really good plays. I'd also throw in, like you mentioned, Josh Giddey. He's just been smashing. I think it's a sticker shock for most people looking at his price tag, but we've seen him put up over 70 fantasy points. So it's well-deserved. So I do like that for tournaments quite a bit. On FanDuel, a couple other guys that I like getting to. Fred VanVleet is just $7K. So I think he makes kind of an interesting tournament option. The minutes are there. We haven't seen a huge ceiling from him lately, but certainly don't mind that. Someone that I'm getting to. I do like Davion Mitchell for some value. He allows you to spend up and get some of those guys in there. And then another guy I'll mention too is Dyson Daniels. I've been playing quite a bit of him. He's 8K, but he's flashed a pretty high ceiling. So I like getting some exposure to the Atlanta side there. So he's someone that I'm looking to on FanDuel tonight as well.
Good stuff, Kristi. Did get a couple questions here, and I'm not sure how relevant they are with where we are as we move through things. But Justin Champagny and the other one was Porter Jr., like 3K, so that must be over on DK. Any interest in either of those guys?
Yeah, we haven't seen the starting lineups come out yet for those, have we? For Washington, I think we have. And you're talking about Champagny for Washington?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think you can throw him in the tournament pool. His minutes have been a little bit shaky here lately, but I think you could certainly keep them in the pool, especially if you're doing multiple lineups. I think Noto mentioned Anthony Black too. Yeah, someone that I'm probably more interested over on DK, but if you needed to save some money, certainly don't mind that. It's, under 5K and allows you to get a lot of other different plays in. So certainly don't mind that either.
Okay. How about shooting guard, Kristi?
Yeah, so kind of similar here. Tyrese Halliburton too is someone I know. Noto, you have him as a core play, but I really like that a lot. I think he's a guy that's been he's 9,200 over on FanDuel, so I think he makes a great play. Someone you want to make sure you get into your tournament builds tonight. Again, you can play Donovan Mitchell at point guard or shooting guard, so I like him. His price has come down too, and of course his usage is up. I mentioned Anthony Black. And Josh Giddey as well. I do think you can play Jalen Green too. He always seems to go a little bit under owned, but I do like getting some exposure to that Houston side. I mentioned Fred VanVleet, who is a tournament play I like quite a bit at the point guard spot, but I don't mind getting some exposure to Jalen Green as well. And let's see if I have anyone else on here. I mentioned Dyson Daniels. He's one of my favorites tonight, just in that mid-range. So I do have exposure to him. Kobe White, I think, is someone you can play too. I have more interest in Josh Giddey, but he is somebody that you can utilize as well.
Okay. Noto, your thoughts at shooting guard on FanDuel?
Yeah, glad Kristi mentioned Halliburton. I forgot to bring him up at point guard. The guy that's just been on a tear. He's had at least 47 in 10 of his last 12 games. I know it's a back-to-back. We only have projected for 31 minutes, but if this game's competitive, I think, there's a chance he gets up to minutes in the mid-30s. And, great matchup against Washington. So I like him quite a bit. I do like the Dyson Daniels call as well. It's a super consistent matchup against Miami is going to help keep that ownership down. And then I think single entry stuff, Jalen Green makes a ton of sense, 7,600 against the Jazz. The usage has been there, and you get that built-in equity if Thompson ends up getting rolled out. So probably my favorite play for single entry. You still have Giddey, you still have Donovan Mitchell. And if you want to save, you can go with A.J. Johnson from Washington. I think I prefer him over Champagnie. He's just been, a little bit more consistent in terms of the minutes. Played 34 minutes his last time out. So I like him against Indy. And that should just about do it for me.
Okay. Have a small forward, Noto.
Yeah, I really like Banchero on FanDuel. He's been super consistent. Good matchup at home against Dallas. I think I prefer him over Wagner. They project similarly. But if you look at their numbers over the last 2 weeks since Banchero's been back and playing full minutes, he's been a little bit more productive. But you can certainly play either one of them. After that, it gets pretty ugly. Andrew Wiggins has been consistent, but he's not a guy that I like to play a lot. Dylan Brooks is going to get you a lot of minutes against Utah. 4.9K is certainly viable there. Maybe DeAndre Hunter in tournaments with Mobley out, with Ty Jerome out. I think maybe he could run into minutes in the high 20s, maybe low 30s if he's playing well. Same goes for Max Strus. That should do it for me.
Very good. We did get the Wizards starting lineup here, Kristi. Poole, Carrington, Champagnie, Middleton, and Sarr is the starting lineup there. Anything that makes you think, okay, maybe I am a little bit more on Champagnie now that he's starting?
Yeah, I like to see him in the starting lineup there. I do think he is just a fine play, and then gives you some exposure to the Washington side. So, I do like that play. I do like a lot of the plays. Noto mentioned Banchero. I think that's a great play. I think both he and Wagner, Wagner to save a little bit, but I do like the upside that Banchero brings. So I like both of those guys quite a bit. A couple maybe under the radar plays that I like. Denny Avia, I think, he's been showing some good ceiling too. So I like that. He is 8,200 over on FanDuel, but again, elite upside there. Kevin Herter, we have him projected for 34 minutes tonight, and he's under 6K and gets you some exposure to the Chicago side. So certainly don't mind that. I know Noto mentioned Dylan Brooks, going to get a lot of minutes tonight. 32 minutes is what we have him projected for. So certainly don't mind that play at all. And maybe just throw in Andrew Wiggins. I do like him better over on DraftKings. He's a little bit cheaper over there, but I think he's fine. He's had some big games here too recently. So I think he's fine at 7.2K.
Okay, good stuff. How about power forward, Kristi?
Yeah, so power forward, looking at, again, Franz Wagner and Banchero are going to look really great, but probably one of the best plays over there. You can play Jared Allen over there. He's just 7.4K. And if I remember right, I think that's one of Noto's core plays tonight. So I think that's one that you're going to want to get into your lineups for sure. Like that quite a bit. I would also say, again, Andrew Wiggins. checks out fine. Bam Adebayo is another one that looks really good. He's been pulling in some of the optimals too. He's 8.4K, so priced similarly to Wagner. So I think that's a good play. Let's see here. Yeah, those are probably the main guys that I'm getting to. I do like getting some exposure to either Paulo or to Wagner, and then Allen, of course, and then Wiggins too. So kind of looking to spend up a little bit here.
Yeah. Okay. Noto, I want your thoughts of power forward. You get a question from Travis in the chat. Any Tari Eason today? Do we know yet if Amen is in? You need somebody out for Tari Eason to kind of get the minutes. He is. I think the question is he in? Do you know?
He's questionable, so gonna have to keep an eye on that one. Probably not going to find out after lock. So if you're playing Tari, you probably want to have a backup plan if Thompson ends up playing. But if he ends up being out, you're having really, really good edge on the field there. And then other power forwards I like. We mentioned Banchero, Wagner. DeRozan projects pretty well against Portland, and you get some built-in equity if Monk ends up being out. Also Sabonis. I mean, he's been playing pretty bad the last couple of weeks, but Portland, they got, two of their centers out. I think it's a pretty good spot for him at home. Nobody's going to play him at 5% ownership. Guy that I like to get to in tournaments. Kristi mentioned Avdia. He's been awesome. He's had a couple of 60 fantasy point games. So I like him in tournaments. And then, I do have Jared Allen tagged as a core play. Just think with Mobley out, good matchup against San Antonio. Pretty high floor there. And then, Roth, two-part question to you. Your kids are playing Jumanji or watching Jumanji?
I believe just based on the noises I'm hearing, they have opened up the game of Jumanji somehow. The animals have left and they are running through my home. I think that's what's happening.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. What do we got at center?
Yeah, I like Jared Allen. So if you're not playing him at power forward, I like playing him at center. I'm somebody that never plays Miles Turner. He always projects well. He has been solid recently. I just never get there myself. I'd love to trust somebody on the Jazz like Walker Kessler, but they're trying to lose and they're big underdogs at home. So I don't know. Maybe you go Şengün, maybe you go Alex Sarr. Both of them have been pretty good recently. But I'll probably just play Allen at center and move on.
Yeah. Okay, Kristi, your thoughts at center?
Yeah, exactly. Like Noto mentioned, if you're not playing Allen at power forward, definitely want to get exposure to him at center at his price tag. Alex Sarr, I do like him. I know his minutes have fluctuated a little bit recently, but the upside is there. So I like him. I know it's interesting. Miles Turner, I never seem to get him quite right either, but the upside is certainly there. He's at a good price, good matchup tonight. So I do have him in my pool tonight. Definitely want to get some exposure, even though, he can be a little bit boom or bust for me too. But I like that. Bam Adebayo is another one that you can play at both power forward or at center. So I like that. Those are I kind of have a small pool tonight for my centers. So kind of on the same guys that Noto is. Just trying to see if there's anybody else. I would also probably throw Domantas Sabonis in there too, just for GPPs. I mean, it's got a pretty good matchup. And again, Monk's still out. So I like that play a little bit too.
Okay, very good. Kristi, with that, we can kick it over to DraftKings. We still have oodles and oodles of time. Did get Javier asking if you have any interest in Ware from Miami.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. I do. And I noticed, just kind of running some builds and running the sims and things like that, he was popping in some. So I think he's fine. I do. I think for tournaments, absolutely. He should be in the pool.
Good stuff. Let's kick it over to DraftKings. And Kristi, you get to lead us off there. Point guard on DK. Some of your favorites.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty similar, or a lot of similarities, I should say. Again, Noto wrote up Tyrese Halliburton, and I really like that. I just think that's a great call. He's had just some really big ceiling games lately. Great matchup tonight, so he's somebody that fits the build. I do like Darius Garland here too. Just again, both he and Mitchell are checking out pretty well for us. And with Mobley out, they both certainly get a bump in usage. So I do like getting exposure there. Davion Mitchell, again, on both sites, checks out as a very good value play, very cheap. Anthony Black is very, very cheap at just 4K. And with no Cole Anthony, it just makes a lot of sense. You can get a lot of guys in. We do have him projected for 27 minutes, but he's been pretty good as of late. So certainly don't mind that. And then I'll also throw a couple of guys that I talked about over on FanDuel too. I do really like Josh Giddey, and Dyson Daniels is probably one of my favorite tournament plays. Again, he's been someone I've been playing more so over than other than Trae Young, and has just as good as upside, just at more of a discount. So I like those as my top plays.
Okay, Noto, your thoughts at point?
Yeah, give me some Tyrese Halliburton going up against Washington, 47 plus and 10 of the last 12. Love that. 8,700 too, so you're getting a nice little discount from his price on FanDuel. Then after that, I'm probably saving. Kristi mentioned Anthony Black and Davion Mitchell, but you also have AJ Johnson there. So all three of them are projected between 23 and 25 fantasy points. All three are between 4 and 4.2K. I think picking the right one of those three is probably going to go a long way in your builds tonight. My favorite's probably going to be Mitchell, but with Johnson not starting, maybe he kind of flies under the radar a little bit for Washington. Outside of that, I don't know. Trae Young's always interesting in large field stuff. Josh Giddey, again, we talked about him on FanDuel. He hasn't had a bad game in weeks, and don't mind the matchup against the Lakers at home. Nobody's going to play Gilgeous-Alexander. Jalen Williams still questionable, so if he ends up being out, that could definitely be an interesting spot for him at 10.9. And then you obviously have your Cleveland guys too, with Ty Drum and Mobley out. So a lot of good plays here. I think my favorite spend out is probably Halliburton. My favorite value is probably Mitchell.
Okay. How about shooting guard?
Yeah, so you can play AJ Johnson over here at shooting guard. So if you do want to play two of those value guys, you can do it by playing him at shooting guard. Bogner's here at 8.9K against Dallas. Projects well, certainly no issue with him. I do like the Dyson Daniels call quite a bit. If you're looking at his game log, he's just been super consistent. He's also, in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, which is kind of cool. Atlanta doesn't have, they're probably going to make the playoffs, but they don't have a ton to play for. So they're going to give him a bunch of minutes every night and, try to get him that award. Matchup against Miami should keep ownership down. And then, yeah, maybe we could look to some of the Spurs guys. They kind of project well, but you need that game to stay close. So if you're playing a few Cleveland guys, maybe bring it back with a Castle or a Vassell.
Okay. Kristi, your thoughts at shooting guard, please.
Yeah, I do like some of the savings that you get here. Noto talked about Davion Mitchell, AJ Johnson. I think they're both good value plays that you can get to, and I certainly have exposure to. If you really want to, take a different tournament twist too, I think you mentioned him too, but Dalen Terry, he's pretty cheap, and I think we do have him projected. Let's see, do we have him projected for minutes in the 20s? I think so. I don't mind that if you want to get just a little bit different and you're really looking to kind of stack your lineups. So don't mind that. Yeah, Dyson Daniels is a guy that I'm getting to at shooting guard too. But yeah, I'm probably looking to save some money here and get some exposure to Dyson Daniels.
Okay, that brings us to small forward. Kristi, what do you like there?
Yep. So Andrew Wiggins, I think just makes a lot of sense. He's just 6.6K. Has just been great as of late. So I like the price on him. He's going to be popular, but I think he's definitely worth it tonight. Banchero is a guy that you can play here too. I like getting to exposure either to Banchero or Wagner, in some lineups, even both. So like those guys quite a bit. Let's see here. Actually, Banchero, I jumped down. He's actually at power forward, but yeah, Wagner, I think is someone, again, Suggs and Anthony both out, somebody that you want to get exposure to. You could also get Kevin Huerter. I mentioned him over on FanDuel. I know it's maybe not quite as attractive now with Giddey in, but, gets you some exposure to the Chicago game. So I like that. Again, Strus is in the starting lineup. He's somebody that, hasn't been, great when given the starting lineup role, but again, he's cheap. And so again, Mobley's out. I like that a little bit. And then, for tournament, throw Kobe White in there too. Although I do prefer Giddey tonight. I do want to get some exposure to the Chicago side.
Okay. Noto, your thoughts on small forward?
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins makes most sense if you're playing cash games, single entry. He's playing well. Great matchup against Atlanta. Pretty good price point too at 6.6K. I do like the Dalen Terry call. Have him projected for 22 minutes. 3.2K definitely helps with some salary savings if you're looking to spend up. The two guys that I really like just to round out lineups with, Max Strus and DeAndre Hunter. With Ty Jerome and Evan Mobley out, there's just so many minutes to go around. Love the matchup against San Antonio. That's pretty much it for me. Don't mind the Kobe White call, but again, I prefer Giddey too. And yeah, I think that's it for me. And Roth, we did start that The Residence on Netflix.
Oh, what do you think?
Pretty good. We're like 4 episodes in.
Okay, I think that's about where we're at. It's pretty fun, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Right.
So now you got to watch Severance.
Okay, well then I gotta like sign up for a whole new thing. You know, I gotta pay more money. Can we talk about Champagne's minutes now? He's officially starting, but we've got him projected at 22. Is that going up, or is that really what we've got him capped at, even starting?
I think that was what we had him at before the news. I don't know. The projection seems better at this stuff than I am, but
yeah,
I mean, he's played 32, 39, 28, 30 in his last 8 games, so he's certainly capable of playing more minutes.
Okay, and at 3.5, am I the only one with interest? I feel like I'm the only one.
Oh, you're talking about San Antonio.
Champagne. No. I'm talking about one, right?
He's 4.7 on DraftKings.
Oh, I got my Champagnes. I got my Champagnes switched. I got my Henny and my Champagne, and they all got switched around. Okay, let's go to power forward then. Noto, what are you doing over there?
All right, let me pull it up. Somebody's talking about Adolescence on Netflix. I'll have to check that out.
That one is all shot. If I'm thinking of the right one, it's also kind of a murder mystery, and it was all shot in one. Each episode is one continuous shot. So the entire episode, there's no cuts. I'm pretty sure that's the one. But
so if you're the actor that messes it up 30 minutes in.
Yeah. Okay, what do we like at power forward?
So I like Banchero quite a bit, 9.9K. We have so much value that we got to spend it up on somebody. He's got that nice floor-ceiling combo. Wiggins is there too. Adebayo, both of them get that matchup against Atlanta. DeAndre Hunter's there. I don't think if there's any like sneaky tournament plays here. You maybe go to like Chet Holmgren, kind of hope that Williams ends up being a late scratch. Good matchup against Memphis, #1 pace team in the NBA. Yeah, I don't have any crazy takes at this one.
Okay, fair enough. Kristi, your favorites at power forward?
Yeah, again, it's going to be Andrew Wiggins at the top. You know, kind of a lot of the guys that we've talked about, Banchero, Bam. I do like the Hunter call too. Let's see here. I'd also throw, I don't know if we've talked about Keldon Johnson, and, you know, he can be a little volatile too, but he's just 4,700. So I think, you know, you could throw him in there as well. He has shown some upside. Yeah, otherwise I'm kind of have just kind of a small pool tonight with Wiggins, Banchero, Bam Adebayo, Hunter, guys like that.
Okay, that brings us to center, and it was not good on FanDuel, and I get the feeling that maybe it's a similar story here on DK. You're just kind of playing Jared Allen and moving on, Kristi?
Yeah, pretty much. Again, he's 6,800. Just makes a lot of sense tonight with no Mobley. So everything, you know, just is pointing up with him. Usage, board should go up. So do like him. Otherwise, you know, Bam Adebayo, we did talk about Miles Turner, a decent amount. He's just such a good matchup against Washington, even though he can be volatile. But we have him projected for 30 minutes, and usually he can do some damage quickly. So I do like that play tonight. We talked about Ware a little bit over there, brought him up. He has been playing well. He has a great matchup against Atlanta. So I think he is someone definitely to consider too. We do have him projected for 29 minutes. We talked a little bit about Sarr as well. You know, his minutes can fluctuate a little bit, but he's flashed some upside as well. So certainly don't mind that play. Let's see. Yeah, and I guess you could maybe throw Chet Holmgren in there too. I'm not personally getting to a lot of him, but I think, you know, for tournaments, he's definitely an interesting guy at 7.5K. But yeah, a lot of Jared Allen, Miles Turner, Bam. I think Ware's a good play too. But yeah, kind of keeping it a tight pool at center as well.
Kristi, I had some questions about Vukcevic for first off, and then also about Vucevic for the Bulls as well. So any Vuk or Vooch in your lineups?
Yeah, I can see how you would get there. I don't. I'm kind of sticking to, you know, like I said, I have a lot of Jared Allen tonight for sure. But yeah, you could. So Vucevic is 4,200. he's been a little bit volatile too, but again, for the price discount that you're getting. But as Noto mentioned, you do have to spend somewhere too, because there is a lot of value, and there's value with guys like Davion Mitchell and AJ Johnson. There's some other guys that can give you some maybe more stable value, Anthony Black and things like that. But I certainly don't mind the play, because he's definitely flashed upside, and Vucevic too absolutely gets you some exposure to the Chicago side.
Okay, good stuff. Noto, your thoughts at center?
Yeah, give me Jared Allen, 6.8K, pretty easy for me. Don't mind the Vucevic call. He's a guy that's had 29 plus in 5 of his last 7. And, they're kind of not playing their veterans very many minutes, so might as well get their young guys some run. Sure. And then for large field stuff, maybe Dean Wade. We'll see what the Cavaliers do with their starting lineup. Oftentimes he ends up starting a power forward. He's 3,100. So you can look at him. That's pretty much it for me at center.
Okay. Let's go with favorite spend ups and who's going to break the slate. I'll ask you both. If y'all have any questions, get them in the Discord, get them in the chat, and make sure you hit the thumbs up for us if you're watching on the old YouTube. I will take questions until we run out of questions. And if we do, we're going to leave a little early. I got family coming over for the fish fry. So, make sure you get those questions in, or else we're going to bounce out quick. Noto, who is your favorite spend up on the slate, and who is kind of your game breaker, maybe a dude that you have that is going to make the difference for you tonight?
All right. My favorite spends tie between Tyrese Halliburton and Paolo Banchero. My difference maker, I'll go Josh Giddey.
Okay. Kristi, favorite spend up? It's the same dudes. You like Halliburton and you like
I do too. Yeah, I do. And right now I currently have both those guys in my lineup. I would say somebody for different though, just because I don't see much talk about him or much exposure, but I'm gonna throw Denny Avia in there just because we've seen a good ceiling with him. And so for tournaments, I think he's somebody that you can get a little bit different with a good ceiling. Okay.
I'm going to throw in a little Luka, right? Has anyone brought up Luka?
We have no.
Okay. Let's go. Is there a reason why we can't play Luka? Is that a bad play?
No.
Okay.
Luka's a good tournament play.
Luka, he was a little embarrassed that he had the game winner last night. He missed it. It was basically like a floater layup. He missed it. LeBron had to save him. So now Luka's got to prove he's the dude. So he's going to come out and put up like a 35, 40-point triple-double to prove it is his team after LeBron embarrassed him. That's my hot take for the night.
I love it.
Okay, let's see what we got here. If you got any QQs, get them in. Starting on the old Discord. And we will go here. Luke Cage says, Kristi, your favorite 2 of these 3, Turner, Allen, Sarr.
Turner and Allen for me.
Very good. Steve O says, Noto, a DKGPP dumpster diver. I'm looking at Craig Porter and Sandro Mamakushil. That one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather have Dean Wade than Porter. It does look like Wade's going to start. Somebody in the chat said that, so I like him. But yeah, I can't remember how to pronounce Big Mamu, but I'm always fine with him in tournaments, especially if that game gets out of hand.
Okay. Tess says, I feel like I need to play a Laker because they play the Bulls, but Luka is too expensive, which I feel that. Do I just play LeBron? Noto, you just play LeBron?
You can. Not my favorite spend, but I don't know. It seems like when they're both in the lineup, they just, cruise around 50 fantasy points each.
Right. They both just do, enough, but not it. They don't go crazy. All right.
That could be enough tonight since there's so many good value plays.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Kristi, FanDuel Cash 3v3 from Aside. The question is Garland, AJ Johnson, and Klingon, or Dort, Wiggy, and Walker Kessler?
Okay. I think it's the first one. What was the first one? One more time. First one.
It was Garland, AJ Johnson, and Klingon.
Yeah, I think I go the first one.
Okay. Very good. Jumping into the YouTube chat, got some questions coming in, just like we like it. By the way, shout out to Lars Newtbar, going yard. That's my guy. That's my favorite player in baseball right there. Favorite FanDuel GPP value play, Kristi?
On FanDuel?
Yes.
Yeah, I would probably say I'm going to say Davion Mitchell.
Okay. FanDuel GPP. Noto, this is for you. Is Mitchell, Garland, and Hunter too many Cavs?
I usually don't play Mitchell and Garland together. Yeah.
Okay.
I would take two of them.
We have a guest, by the way. Do you see the baseball?
Hey.
We got it ready for opening day with the baseball. You want to wave and say hi? Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Let's see. We're doing pretty good. We may bounce on that note because we have caught up on all the questions. And as I said, if we hit the questions, we're getting on out of here. And with this adorableness in my lap and with the questions dried up, we are going to clear on out. So excellent work for Noto, for Kristi, for our wonderful production crew. Always working hard behind the scenes. We appreciate you. We love you. Ellie, can you say you have been crunched? No, you have been crunched.